Okay, I want to go over the study guide from today, and I want to really specify what I think you need to make sure you have ready for the test tomorrow. So first things first, and I will put this in the comment section, if you'll just mark this video completed or in some way show me that you acknowledge this video exists, I will let you use your already filled in yellow handout on the test tomorrow. So my first suggestion would be, is your yellow handout up to par? Do you have everything you need to know on it? Do you have, for instance, the fact that rectangles have isosceles triangles inside of them? Do you have that marked somehow? Since squares have right angles that are bisected by the diagonals, do you have that marked somehow? Or, if none of these markings mean anything to you and look like complete gibberish, do you have some words added to your handout? That way it makes sense to you and you can make it useful for the test tomorrow. Now again, this handout is only useful for parallelograms and types of parallelograms. So if I were to pull out that puzzle worksheet, which we're going to count as a straight bonus. Let me show you. I passed it out last week sometime, and we're going to count it as a straight bonus. But what I'm referencing is on the back of it. So our yellow handout has all this stuff in the circles. It has parallelograms, and one type of parallelogram is a rectangle, another type of parallelogram is a rhombus, etc. What's not on the yellow handout are the stuff found inside this circle. For instance, trapezoids and kites are kinds of quadrilaterals not inside the parallelogram world. But the good thing is they're in the quadrilateral world. Quadrilateral means four-sided figure, which means there are four angles. So if you recall that handy dandy formula we used in 6-1, n minus 2 times 180, we have four angles. So no matter what, whether you have a trapezoid or a kite or a rhombus, the interior angles need to add up to 360. So in every single problem that involves angles on my test, I would make sure they add up to 360. Now, if you try to make the sides add up to 360, I will be mad. But the angle should add up to 360. That's a good, helpful hint. Okay, now to just go over the study guide answers. If you watch the video on kites, you already know one fact we for sure need to have memorized about a kite is that there is one pair of opposite congruent angles. There's only the one pair of opposite congruent angles. So, since 89 and 42 don't match, these two have to match. So this spot and this spot has to match. So if I wanted to, I could even put an X there. Okay, I know 89 plus 42 is 131. Again, since this is a kind of quadrilateral, I know all four angles should add up to 360. So 360 minus 131 is 229. So those two angles have to share 229 degrees. So I have both of them needing to add to give me 229. So just the one would be 229 divided by 2, which is 114.5. I will be nice and on the test tell you if you should be anticipating a decimal answer. Okay, on number 2 on the study guide, our problem involves a trapezoid. So far we've had a kite. Now we're having a trapezoid. Now, so kite, you need to know this. Trapezoids, you need to remember the mid-segment formula. We had a formula that said the mid-segment is equal to the two bases added together and divided by 2. Now on the test, I anticipate a much easier problem. It will probably look something like this. In fact, I'm pretty sure on the test, I don't give you a picture and you have to draw your own trapezoid. But otherwise, the math is much easier. So you add the two bases, and you divide by 2, and with my example, I would get 60 divided by 2, which is 30. That's the kind of thing I would think would be on the test tomorrow. But I know you want to know how to solve this one. So it's still going to be add the two bases, divide by 2, set equal to the midsegment. If you multiply both sides by 2, you would have 4x plus 5 plus 2x minus 5 equals 48. If you combine like terms, you'll have 6x. The 5's will cancel out. 6x equals 48. You divide both sides by 6, you get x equals 8. So I know the value is 8. And if I was really trying to get my A, I would plug it back in and check myself and make sure that indeed the two bases added together, divided by 2, does give me that midsegment. Okay, our next problem involves a parallelogram. We've already had a test on parallelograms, so this one should be easy peasy. If I asked you if they labeled the diagonals, the sides, or the angles, I pray by now you would tell me diagonals. We know that in a parallelogram, the diagonals bisect. So we should set 6x equals to 72. If we divide both sides by 6, we would get x equals 12. And so this piece, if we plug it back in, is length 72, because 6 times 12 is 72. So I got 72 and 72 for this diagonal. This piece and this piece are each 72. And then if I plug in 12, 12 minus 5, well, that's 7. So if this piece is 7, the piece with the y on it must also be 7. So y equals 7. The next problem is about a rectangle. If RSTU is a rectangle, use the information to answer the questions below. So we're asked to solve for a rectangle. The first thing I would do is I would go ahead and mark my figure with the stuff I know about a rectangle. So for instance, with a rectangle, I know that each angle is 90 degrees. And in a rectangle, I know that the diagonals, US and RT, are supposed to be congruent. So if I want to somehow mark that, I could as well. Like if I wanted to make them the same color, so I remember that. I don't know. If you had your yellow handout, hopefully you could apply the information from it to the problems given. Okay, I'm told UZ is x plus 21. I'm told ZS is 3x minus 15. Those two pieces should be equal. So I'm going to do x plus 21 equals 3x minus 15. I'm going to solve for x. I got 18 for x. So if I plug it in, 18 plus 21, well, that's 39. I could plug it in the other piece as well, and I would also get 39. But the answer isn't 39 because they don't ask for UZ. Heck, they don't ask for ZS. They ask for US, the entire length. So it should be 39 times 2, or 39 plus 39, which is 78. My final answer is 78. Okay, on the next problem, I'm told angle SUT is 3x plus 6. Angle RUS is 5x minus 4. And I'm asked to find the measure of SUT. If you see the two spots I filled in, this spot here and this spot here, again, I'm supposed to know that there are 90-degree angles in each corner. So those two angles added together should add up to 90. So 3x plus 6 plus 5x minus 4 equals 90. If I combine like terms, I'll have 8x plus 2 equals 90. So 8x equals 88. So x equals 11. Now that's great. They didn't ask me for x. They asked me for SUT. So I need to plug in the 11. And I'll get 33 plus 6, which is 39. But if I was being smart and trying to get my A, I would also plug in 11 in the other piece. So 5 times 11 minus 4, that's 55 minus 4, it's 51. And I would check, is 51 plus 39 really 90? Yes, it is. So I know 100% that I'm right. SUT is 39 degrees. Okay, on my next example, it says, not example, my next study guide question says RT is 3x plus 6, US is 5x plus 18, and they ask for RT. Well, in a rectangle, we know the two diagonals are supposed to be congruent, so I need to do 3x plus 6 plus equals, good grief, 5x plus 18. Since the two diagonals are congruent, if I solve for x, I would get the wrong number because I've forgotten I've changed the numbers on this problem. That's constant. Okay, it's supposed to be 5x plus 2, so that should be a 2, which makes that a 2. Otherwise, it ends up being negative, and then I'm unhappy. Okay, 6 minus 2 is 4. So that 4 equals 2x, so 2 equals x. I need to plug this back in and figure out the length of RT. So 3 times 2 plus 6, that's 12. But I really want an A in geometry, so I'm going to check the other diagonal as well. 5 times 2 plus 2, that's 10 plus 2, which is also 12. I know I'm right. RT is 12. Okay, so we've done a question about a kite, a trapezoid, a parallelogram, a rectangle. We're about to answer a question about a rhombus. The only thing I see missing is a square. The only thing I see missing from the study guide is a square. Okay, ABCD is a rhombus. Use the information to answer the questions below. Well, if it really is a rhombus, I know that all 4 sides are congruent. And I also know the diagonals are perpendicular to each other. So I added in my right angle. Okay, they tell me the length of AB. They tell me the length of CD. I know those two sides should be equal. So for my first problem on number 8, I'm going to do 10x minus 15 equals 5x plus 5. Okay, x equals 4. X equals 4. They don't ask for x though, they ask for AB. So I need to plug that number in. So 10 times 4 minus 15. 40 minus 15 is 25. But I want an A, so I'm going to check the other length as well. 5 times 4 plus 5. Oh, that's also 25. I know I'm right. So AB really is length 25. Okay, the next question says find angle CEB. Well, that's pretty easy. I know that's supposed to be a right angle, so the answer is 90 degrees because the diagonals are perpendicular. Okay, and the next problem says, again, here is my rhombus. I'm going to draw it again. A, B, C, D, diagonal, diagonal. There's an E here. They tell me that BE is 5, and they ask me for the length of AC. You know what? We can't answer this question as it is. It's not a very good question because I have my handout by rhombus. I don't know that this piece is necessarily congruent to any of the opposite diagonals pieces. I don't know that in a rhombus, but I would know that if this was a square. So we're going to fix this problem and pretend it's a square. If it was a square and BE was 5, then AE would be 5, EC would be 5, and so the entire length of AC would be 5 plus 5, which is 10. Otherwise, that's an awful question, and I need to take it off my study guide next year. Okay, the next question says, if CBD is 58, find ACB. So I need to draw a new picture again. A, B, C, D, E. That was awful, but whatever. It'll be okay. ACB is what we want to know. And they tell me CBD is 58. Well, my picture's bad. However, if I were to really zoom in, B, E, C is a triangle. And I know this one's 58. This one's the one I've been asked to find. And if we're really thinking this through, the diagonals are supposed to be perpendicular. So this is a 90-degree angle. So it's a triangle problem. I know the three numbers need to add up to 180. 90 plus 58 is 148. So 180 minus 148. And you'll get 32. So the question mark or angle ACB should be 32 degrees. That looks like the ugliest degree sign ever. 32 degrees. Okay, last but not least, it says A, B, D is 35. And they ask you for ADC, which is here. ADC. Well, again, this is the problem's wrong. Thankfully, Derek helped me fix it first period. It shouldn't say ADC. It should say EDC. Thankfully, there aren't typos like this on the test. So there should just be asking for this spot right here. Well, these two are alternate interior angles. The way these two are alternate interior angles. So if ABD is 35, EDC is also, or BDC is also going to be 35 degrees. This question was wanting you to remember we have alternate interior angles. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Come see me 0 period. Good luck on your test tomorrow.